The recent move by the both leaders, that's President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga, to bury the hatchet has continued to elicit political reactions around the country, with many speculating that the move is calculated towards the next presidential poll in 2022. And as our Victor Nabiswa narrates, the truce should by no means include the opposition camp and diminish their role as the government watchdog, as it is different from the 2008 coalition between former President Mwai Kibaki and opposition leader Raila Odinga.
Backdated to 25th October last year, the opposition leader Raila Odinga making his way to Uhuru Park. This is the day the opposition chief made the major announcement to his more than 5 million supporters countrywide. Odinga directing the opposition sympathizers to stay away from the polls the following day, which had been slated for the repeat of the August 8th presidential elections.
Hawezi kufanya uchaguzi yao wenyewe, na tunasema wao watoke nje kwanza.
This is one of the incidences that clearly speak of the dire situation that followed the hotly contested presidential elections. But now the tide seems to have changed since these two leaders, with massive following in the country, decided to settle their political differences at Harambee House on March 9, 2018. The move by Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta to reconcile has not been received with open arms, especially by Jubilee Party members, some of whom are Deputy President William Ruto's point men. Even though the Raila Odinga truce was aimed at healing the nation that was already divided on tribal and political lines, experts feel it might be the source of a bad blood among the opposition and other leaders within the ruling party. Political analyst and constitutional lawyer Ndungu Wainaina believes the move will not paralyze the functions of the opposition, since the pact is different from the 2008 accord between the opposition chief and former President Mwai Kibaki.
Then, part of that accord was anchored in the constitution. And that's how we amended the constitution to now create the position of the office of the Prime Minister.
There has been calls to amend the constitution so as to change the structure of the government, but Ndungu says constitutional amendment at this point is unnecessary.
There is nowhere in the statement of March 9th they talked about amendment of a constitution. There is nowhere they talked about changing the structure and character of the executive. It was purely things they wanted to work on.
Some of the issues addressed in the Uhuru-Raila agreement are bringing all Kenyans together, involving citizens from all walks of life in devolution, lowering the political temperatures, and reinstating the state of security in the country. Other issues that were addressed are putting into considerations the rights of every human, equitable distribution of resources, and intensifying the fight against corruption in the country. Ndungu says the call of reconciling the nation can be achieved even without creating jobs for the opposition leaders.
Because it is like we are confusing the handshake of two gentlemen agreement, and now we want to give it a constitutional meaning. Yet, the constitution is very specific. When you are dealing with the structure and character of the constitution, it has to be done in a popular consultative process. But
even before the 14-member committee start off their function of integrating the nation, there was need to sensitize Kenyans about the Uhuru-Raila Pact. Victor Nabiswa, KUTV.